Sasha! It's good to see you. This has been too long. This was 4 years ago when we had our last show, when the administration was in the first time. Now we get to criticize him while the administration's in for the second time. So, let us get started.
Are we happy today with Trump, like 60 or how many days in office?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. So let's like kind of like set the stage. So the markets are down, and I'm not worrying about markets; they can recover. But we have tariffs, war. Trump promised us to get like the war in Ukraine in 24 resolved in 24 hours. Resolve the issues in the Middle East. Nothing has been done on this part. Instead, he opened the tariff war. He destroyed almost NATO. Like they don't know what is going on. There is disarray inside of the country. The government like being laid off, like completely dismantled. Courts, like the attorneys of the government, like they fired. IRS agents are fired.
And the rest are working full time.
Yeah, so are we going like in any good directions? What can we expect, in your opinion, Jeffrey, like from the current administration? Can Trump fix these things? Is it just only at the beginning, or it's gonna be something like good, like or what do you think?
Well, my feeling is we're either at the beginning of the end or we're at the end of the beginning.
And that's encouraging.
Let's hope that it's the end of the beginning and we can finally start doing some intelligent things. Right now, we pissed off all our allies. We managed to take a very dangerous country like Canada and made them an enemy.
not a dangerous, but a good country.
I know.
Yeah.
But and so we pissed off Canada. We pissed off Mexico. We pissed off Panama. We pissed off maybe Greenland and
Greenland.
Yeah,
but all about like all NATO's countries. Like people expecting us to lead, but we like kind of like detaching ourselves from the rest of the world. But instead of at least if we're detaching ourselves from the rest of the world, at least we would do something inside. But inside we're destroying everything. And go ahead.
And the worst thing is that we've completely crippled ourselves with the FBI, with the CIA, with all the organizations,
the IRS.
with all the organizations that we need to protect ourselves in the world, because this is a dangerous world. China is on a path to basically take over the world economically, and they're doing a much better job than we are.
Absolutely agree.
And Russia is just the same. It's got an economy that's a small economy that's completely out of whack. It's
but it's working. Even it's out of whack, but it's working. It's not falling apart. And they just teaming up with China, the Brazil, and all the BRICS system. Iran, and they destroying like the balance in the world. They just like undermining the whole thing, like the peace in the world. And today, like I expected from Trump, like the peace. He's the peace president, as he says, but I don't see it. So what can we expect?
Apparently, it was the wrong spelling of peace.
Because
anyway, before we go on, I'm sure you're all curious. Who the hell are we? So let me tell you, I'd like you to meet Sasha. Sasha is a
enrolled agent in 25 years in business.
He's a great accountant. He knows more about everything than anyone that I know, and more than Trump. And he has actually written a book. It's called
The Purple Vision. Hold on, right there.
And the Purple Vision is actually Sasha's whole concept of how to actually fix all the things that are wrong with this country, which means not Democratic, not Republican. It's a middle of the road approach to actually cure all the problems. we fix immigration, we fix the health system, we fix the energy system, we fix the agricultural system. Everything can be done if we
start from this book.
Adhere from a lot of the rules that he's come up with in this book.
And Jeffrey is the musician. He can do everything too. He played for like orchestra for two administrations. He knows the White House like my house.
So I was in the White House for 4 years. I was one of the solo violinists for President Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. And also I was 3 years of Nixon, 1 year of Ford, and a year and a half of Watergate. And at the time, we played for everybody. I played for Brezhnev, for Indira Gandhi, for Golda Meir, all kinds of people. I had conversations with Kissinger. I spent a lot of time talking with Nixon's press secretary, Ron Ziegler. Just to give you an example of what Ron Ziegler said very briefly when we were dealing with the Vietnam War. And it was the first time I flew to California. We were playing for Brezhnev at Nixon's house in San Clemente. And Ziegler, had a long conversation by Nixon's pool, and Ziegler asked me, he says, "Do you know how we got out of Vietnam?"
And what did you answer?
And so I said, "Well, we kind of gave it away." He says, "No, the way that Nixon got us out is that the Russians, had a terrible crop. In other words, their agricultural system was collapsing because even though they can grow the food, they couldn't get it delivered. So Nixon made a deal privately under the table with Brezhnev, say, if you give us a window to get out of Vietnam, we'll lift the embargo on food." Nobody knows that. It was not in any books, but that's actually what happened. So he lifted the embargo, and then all of a sudden we got out, slowly, but we did get out, and that's how it happened.
But that what underlines that sometimes to be in a house, to know what's in the White House actually is going on.
Yeah.
So let's go by step by step, because we have an agenda today to explain hopefully to you what can be done in this situation. So let me start from one thing. Can Trump fix what is going on? Maybe it's just little hiccups, and later on he will fix the tariff war. He will start gaining on something. What is your opinion on Trump performance and ability of Trump's administration to fix what is going on right now in the country?
I think the whole concept of tariffs doesn't work. It never worked in the past. I don't see how it can work in the future. Right now, the problem with tariffs is that it affects everybody in different ways. It affects businesses that they cannot plan their futures, they cannot plan their expenses, they cannot plan if they're going to be able to supply their clients, because the clients are getting cut off, the businesses are getting cut off, and the taxes are getting cut off. Plus, understand what a tariff is. The only person who pays a tariff is the consumer. It's not the country, it's no one else. The consumer pays for tariffs.
Can I add something?
Yes. So you can explain that much better than I can.
So basically, when you add a tariff on some goods or services coming from a different country, it's like a tax. So you do it for specific reason. But when the goods are coming from China, let's say in ballpark, and you think about everything what you have currently, maybe 80%, like in my office, it came from China. All the cell phones, not all, but most of the cell phones, everything coming cheap to you. And then from Canada, from Mexico. And when you tariff, you basically saying to other countries, we don't want your product, we want to do it ourselves. And we don't want it cheaper. We want to increase the product price, basically, when you put the extra sales tax on it. So what you're doing, you're destroying a relationship. You buying the same product that you used to buy for almost cheap or free, wherever your version is. You just increasing the purchase price just by yourself, what is the reason, what is the substitute. Are you ready today, like if you increase your cell phone, let's say, how much you paid for your cell phone?
Probably about $800.
Can you buy today, like if you destroy the relationship for $2,000-$3,000 your cell phone? No, the answer is no. Can you buy the toilet that you want to sit on, like not for $300, $4,000, or $2,000-$3,000? The answer is no. Why do you do that? So the answer is no reason. So please, let's go from the tariff like to immigration. Maybe we are kicking out illegal immigrants.
Okay, now going in with immigration, there's no question that a lot of the immigrants who have come into the country need to go home or whatever. There are some dangerous people. Are they rapists? Are they things like that? No, they're not. Almost 90% of them have come to this country because they cannot possibly survive in their own countries. That's one thing. However, let's look at it from the other side of the coin. Immigration is what makes our country work. When it comes to agriculture, when it comes to factory working and things like that, the immigrant community will do things that the average American won't. And they're perfectly happy to do it, get paid, pay their taxes.
But it's a legal immigration. Even like if it's like you have to have a legal workforce, you cannot have illegal, so you cannot pay them salary, you cannot tax the salaries, so it's disarray. So like from one side, like to make some kind of like changes, you have to make changes as a Trump administration is trying to do, but do they do it wisely?
When you threaten people to lock them up, when you create what looks like now is Trump's own version of the Gestapo, which is terrible, to arrest people without
due process.
Without due process should be illegal in this country in every circumstance. If you want to arrest a person, you go to a court, you get an arrest warrant, you do it properly, and then you can throw them out.
So basically, so like we are not doing it correctly. There is no plan. So Trump started like to force people out. There are many very vicious people he picked out, and which is good, but it had to be lawfully, because otherwise it's all like if you do unlawful thing, it's not gonna work in the long term. So with illegal immigration, again, it's in the book how to deal with illegal immigration, because I'm taking like there is a special chapter illegal immigration, how to resolve it. Read the book, it's important. So Trump is not making any good progress on illegal immigration, is he?
He might be making a little progress. The problem is that there's no, it's completely private and it's not open. Plus the people that he's using to enforce illegal immigration is very questionable at best. You cannot hire people who come in with a mask on and weapons and things like that with no identification and remove people. That is the beginning of an autocracy that this country cannot deal with.
I mean, like if you have a plan to remove people, it, in my opinion, it doesn't matter. Like it's like you have your mask on. If it's a legal procedure, if they have a mandate to enforce like some kind of a plan of removing illegal immigration, it's okay to enforce it in a full scale. It doesn't matter. The point is there is no plan of removing illegal immigration. And many people, because if you remove them, again, in the book, I'm telling what we need to do with illegal immigration, how to make it work. Because from we're refusing, like with the tariff war, we're refusing for cheap product. We say we don't need cheap product. Okay, so are we going to do it ourselves? Are you, Jeffrey, are you ready to go to the field and pick up the crop? Like cherries or strawberries, apple, maybe potatoes?
No, I would hire somebody.
Right, but are you like, who's cleaning in Los Angeles? Who is cleaning the streets?
Yeah,
are you like, do you have people like already ready to to pick up that spots of work that we are trying to remove. So from one side, we're refusing that the cheap product, we put in the tariffs. From the other side, we're removing the force that work for us while we just like doing.
And for the last side, we as Americans are not willing to be the source of cheap labor.
Exactly. So we don't have a plan. So okay. So what's next? Like, who can fix? Can Trump? Like, you're not answering, Jeffrey. Who can fix the? Can Trump fix the problem?
By himself, no.
But he's got like Elon Musk, who represents the like kind of private business community. He's a successful businessman. Can he?
For me, the most important thing was to have competent people in the cabinet, because Trump doesn't do anything, Musk doesn't do anything. It's the various cabinet departments that actually have to make things happen, make things work. When you hire people who are not competent to flip hamburgers in McDonald's, and you're telling them that they have to run a defense department, or they have to run huge departments with in some cases thousands and thousands of people, and these are people that are people working in these places that have never had to hire 2 people, let alone 10,000.
So let me just get it in the English. So are you saying that like Trump hired not incompetent people on the key positions, so we cannot expect from the government to work its magic to make us better as a country?
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay, but now, like again, like I'm pushing back, like there is an Elon Musk who is kind of part of the government and not part of, but he created so many successful companies. He is the #1 person in the world ever, and he's the most successful, in my opinion, in the world forever. Like in this country, in this world, in this universe, can he help our country to be successful?
In my opinion, no, but I'm not that impressed with Elon Trump.
But why you're not happy or impressed?
Because for me, Elon Trump doesn't invent these things. He doesn't create these. No, sorry, Elon Trump. It's actually that's correct. It's both of them. The problem is that he doesn't create anything. He finds people, he comes up with an idea, and then he hires the people that can do it. But he himself is no expert at it.
Yeah, but isn't it the magic of the manager who knows who to hire, where to go, and to actually make it happen?
Yes, but you don't hire 19, 20, 21-year-olds.
If they qualify.
Yeah, but who's to determine if they're qualified? They're not given any, nobody has a chance to vet these people.
So let me just like...
which is very important, you know.
Let me just say, so like Elon Musk, and again, like I agree with you. So Elon Musk, what happens, he doesn't, like within the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, what he does, he cuts. He goes to the like some kind of like database, and he cuts the funds. Instead, he should do where he can go, like to understand the programs and government, like you say, Congress. You remember you told me like a couple of days ago or something that Congress has the list of programs, and you know.
Okay, yeah. An interesting thing is, years ago I took an economics course. In fact, at the time when I was in the Nixon White House. And what we learned is that you can read something that comes out, I think, every month or every couple of months, called the Congressional Registry. Now, the problem with Congress and everything else is that there is no line item veto, which a lot of people have been demanding to get. If we had a line item veto, it means that if some congressman throws some stupid thing into an energy bill or into a defense bill because he's trying to make
his district like
he's trying to cheat the government out of money or create a new piece of government. But the Congressional Registry, you can read about all of this. In my day, I remember that some congressman at that time said, "Oh, we need to study the frisbee." And they got like $10 or $15 million, and then they created an office. These people hired people who hired people who hired people, and they sat in an office tossing a frisbee around for $15 or $20 million.
So
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So basically, when they vote on some like fiscal policy to get a vote from different Congress people, they want to assert in exchange for their vote, they would get what they call the pork, something to them, to their districts, which I like in idea, because they're small districts and they need some kind of leverage to get something for their constituents.
Yes, sometimes it works, but often it doesn't, like the famous bridge to nowhere. But they hired a lot of people to build that bridge to nowhere.
Okay, so let's come back. So Musk doesn't, he goes and he cuts things that he has no right to do so, because it's a congressional, at the congressional level, which already appropriated, voted for, and the money already there. The people depend, like the businesses on which government said they agreed to provide money and services. It's already voted for and already what's the word? So it's done. You cannot undo these things. So.
And most important, you cannot describe what a job is from an algorithm.
Exactly. So what he does, exactly my point too. That's why I brought that registry, so you can read about the program more, and then you can identify like the proper way for Elon Musk to do it. He can identify the program which do not work in his opinion and his opinion of his team, and let the Congress to vote it against them, or like in different year to discharge those programs. But the good part of our government is supposed to be, we don't change what we decided. So we don't go back on our word and laws.
Yeah, there's so many ways to legally end programs.
Exactly.
And if a program doesn't work, you should be able to cut the program. But as long as you have to pass huge bills, like a major health bill, or a major economics bill, or a major defense bill, and before that bill gets passed, at the very last minute, you have all these congressmen and senators and people like that throwing in all this pork so they can get the campaign money and things like that, and get credit with some of the people in their communities and things like that. But he knows they're useless programs. But they know that they need to pass that bill, and in order to pass the bill, the president's going to have to sign for all this pork also, because he can't eliminate it.
Okay, so I understand. So we cannot, in your opinion, we cannot get any help from Musk because he's not going in the right direction. First, like some people say, Musk will cut $2 trillion in a budget, like spending. But he can't, because he doesn't understand what to cut. There is like all the programs, if you cut those programs, they will cut our economic system, because many programs are bringing jobs or keeping current the jobs already in place. So it will be disarray when you stop those programs. It will shut down the streams of revenue for our government. So it's not a proper way to destroy our life, firing people from the jobs.
And also, so many programs are dependent on other programs, because we have the world is a complicated place. We have to deal with security. We have to deal with everything else. We have to deal with our allies in other countries. You cannot cut things that are important for security that the world depends on, and then expect the rest of the world to help you when you need help.
And they
it
just
won't work.
And Jeffrey, he announced that he discharged the Department of Education, right? It's already done deal, or just because it's recently in the news?
It's pretty much, there are good things about that and bad things about that.
What's a good thing? Briefly.
I mean, the problem is that the Department of Education there's a lot of waste in it. It doesn't do all that much. However, it does control a lot of the research that goes on in the United States. And the research is what makes this country top of the line around the world. If all of a sudden, all the research projects, whether it's medical research or cancer research or military research and things like that, we need that. If you fire these people and then you have to rehire them, how are you going to rehire them? If you take away the funding to universities that actually help develop these projects that go on for that will make the country better for years and years, and you kill all this stuff. Every time you kill something, it's 10 times harder to restore it.
So in different words, like destroying anything, it doesn't fix anything. So basically, if you want to like fix the Department of Education or education concept in a country, you have to have a program how to make it work, because each state has a Department of Education. Our 10K schools are the government funded. Instead of making the centralized kind of like power, we destroying that centralized power through the Department of Education. So you must fix it, not destroy it. So in your point that Trump and his administration, instead of fixing it something, they just completely dismantling it, and it's not helping. So can Congress fix the issues? Can they vote it out, like all that ideas, or what can they do?
Technically, they could if they wanted to. The problem is that Trump's got a headlock hold on most of the people in Congress, especially the MAGA Republicans.
How does he have a?
Because he's threatening all these people with
re-election,
with the primary. In other words, he's saying to all these people that if you don't do exactly what I say, you will be primaried out of office. What I'm saying is that the way we can fix this, or what we have to get the whole country to do, is have huge demonstrations, not for 50 people or 100 people or 150 people. It should be almost like the famous moratoriums from the Vietnam War, where you completely flood Washington, D.C., you fill the ellipse, you fill the White House, you fill everything with hundreds of thousands of people. And then we tell the congressmen and the senators that if you don't start doing something right, we are going to primary you and make sure that you do not get reelected. That's the first start.
I agree with you. So like basically people have to rise up, but like in Vietnam War, it was clear there was an idea. We knew what's the idea, like we want to stop the war. But what is the idea people will rise up for? Like what's the, how they, like somebody has to tell people what we should looking for. What?
That's actually quite simple. How are they going to know that they have to rise up? The first thing, which is what Trump ran on and has completely abandoned it, inflation. But inflation, also he promised he's not going to attack Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid, and they're doing that. They're technically not attacking it, but what they're doing is they're completely destroying the infrastructure, which is the same thing as closing it down.
I agree with it, but so again, we're talking about like you telling people right there, like, hey guys, rise up, but like it's not just against inflation. They have to like, somebody has to be a leader. Do you think like who should we look for? I know the answer. It's like in the book, in my book. But I want you like to because you're saying right things. Let's do something. But that's Trump was elected on to, because he said to all people like, this is wrong, that's wrong. Like we have like Chinese using us. These people are using us. He basically turned all the people in the United States in the woke culture. So everybody's taking advantage of us. What are we gonna do? And Trump says like, I will take care of you. I know what to do. Okay, so you 60 days in office or whatever the number is.
Well, what he has proven over 60 days is that the one person in the United States who obviously has no clue about what to do seems to be Donald Trump.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of people that are saying interesting things. Even if you look at the cover of the book, you see Bernie Sanders on there.
Yeah.
And Bernie Sanders has some good ideas. AOC has some good ideas. But the problem is that we need good, young, very, very well educated people who can go and say, look, there is a way to fix this. We can use this book as a guide, but then there's a way to do this. And if we don't start doing it, it's that everything's going to go bad. Nobody talks about climate change. Look at all the damage that's been done just in the last year from climate, and then Trump's completely abandoned
ignores
that.
it. But let me just pull back. So basically, in my book, there's a chapter, and I wrote this book in 2018, and I said in this book that Donald Trump is the best president ever, like being elected in the United States, and he is the worst president being elected in the United States. Ask me how it can it be?
How can it be?
Thank you. You see, you just like you're trying to get something.
I finally got right to the subject.
Yeah. So the point is, like, Trump showed us what's wrong with this, like with different items and subjects in our country, like with the government and what, like, programs, but he doesn't know how to fix it. So we need like a person who knows how to fix it. That's why I like when you talked about Congress and people, we need to look at the people who have the plan for your district, for the country, for the state, for wherever it is. You need to, you cannot trust a person who says, like, I'm a billionaire or I'm a businessman, I know what to do. You have to ask, okay, if you know what to do, what's the plan? Because you, like when you sign the contract and you read the contract before signing. When you elect a person, you cannot say, I trust you. You need to see the goods before you buy them.
Yeah, there's a lot that we're going to have to continue with, because otherwise
It's just
this
going
this,
on
this,
and on.
this discussion could go on for hours. What's most important to understand is that Trump's whole process of revenge over everything that happened to him over the last 8 years is what's killing his presidency. If he would really think about how to fix the country and do all the things that really matter, instead of think about how can I screw this guy and how can I screw this guy. They screwed me, they tried to impeach me, they tried to do this. Who cares? That's history. It's the idea is, if you give the country, if you give the people in the country something to cheer about, then they're going to be on your side. But he's not even considering that.
No, he's doing it. He's giving the carrot in terms of Doge finding some dividends of $5,000 per person, and people are cheering about that, hoping that this is the solution for all their problems. Forget about medical, like if you go in a hospital, you cannot get a proper care for the money you pay. So it's just an example. But my point that Jeffrey being here listening to me, and he still doesn't get it. You cannot expect Jeffrey from Trump to give you solutions if he doesn't have a plan.
True.
If he does,
I do believe that he would have more of a plan if he spent less time on the golf course and more time in the White House. Why? They're trying to save money. Musk is trying to find ways to save money. You realize that he spent $51 million in his first administration playing golf. What did that accomplish? He's already spent over $1.4 million just in the first 40 days of his presidency playing golf. That doesn't accomplish anything. What accomplishes something is sitting in the Oval Office with people who are very knowledgeable and working out systems that do work.
So let me, if I may, let me conclude. So basically, what we want from Trump or other elective representatives, we want them like to bring us the plan. But how to understand what we need to do as a country, because we cannot go blue or red, because it shifts us like one side to another. We need like the purple vision. Like, and I wrote this book to for people to understand what is all about. Why United States is the greatest country. People living here, you don't understand. So maybe you do. So we want you like to read this book and comment. Like, for example, what we want to do, like, we want your opinion. Who do you think we can trust as a government elective today? Who can we get behind to lead us? Representatives who know the solutions. And if you don't have a solution, why would we vote for you?
Yeah, if you read this book and you can and you agree with the ideas in the book, and you say, you should get in touch with this person. He really will understand exactly what needs to be done. We need to find the best people that exist in this country
and represent our ideas, our like things, because like I've been in this country and consider home for 30 years. When I came, it was problematic for me to adapt to. I work hard, but it felt differently. Now it's kind of like, I don't know what is going on, what's the plan, where are we going? I have no inspiration. I need a person to inspire, not to give like $25,000 to buy a house where I will not afford. And so I need people who understand how to get there. And where? Start with this book. I'm not trying to sell this book. It's just so many chapters on solutions. And what else like you want to say in conclusion?
Well, there's a lot of things that are changing over these last couple of years, and it's going to go. The changes are going to be 10 times more ferocious in many ways. The biggest thing is AI. AI is changing the whole system of thinking, not only in this country, but around the world. In many ways, it's going to make the world incredible. In many ways, it can make the world a disaster. The other thing that's very, very serious, and this will have a lot to do with how everything is done in this country and around the world, and it's the whole monetary system. The monetary system, after the invention of blockchain and smart contracts and things like that, is going to be completely different, whether we want it or not. It's because these other systems work better. It's that simple.
And Jeffrey, like, if people want, like, please subscribe for our channels. And what happens, like, if you want us to talk about blockchain or like any other subject, please comment and tell us what is your favorite representative that you trust, you want to go behind, and how this representative will lead us to better times. Because we need, if you know somebody, let's share, let's talk about these people, and we will continue on the different videos about other subjects.
And then hopefully we can have some larger group chats with interesting people.
We will bring people in,
which would be great. I mean, I would love to get our ideas, especially from the book, on shows like Bill Maher, the Bill Maher Show, because he's always looking for new concepts and things like that also. And this would be very interesting for a show
Bill
like
Maher,
that.
or somebody who is looking for answers, not looking for clicks, and we need like to fix our country. We need like to live happier. We need to understand what's the goal of our lives, not to pay, work, and it's just, we need the concept.
Yeah, we also
Jeffrey, let's cut it on this.
Okay. Lastly, we also miss the old days when people got a lot of information from reading and from studying. Now people are addicted to their smartphones, and
it's a good thing too.
And a lot of this is gone. So anyway, those are a couple of our opinions for this show. And I hope you found it interesting, and that this is number one. Hopefully we'll be able to do this at least
definitely. You two guys take care.
Yeah, every week or two, for sure.
Take care, bye.
So we'll say goodbye. Bye now.
You see it?
That will need a bit of editing.
Yeah, but